You ever have a night so bizarre you can't decide whether to laugh, cry, or just move to the woods and start over? That was me right before dawn when my cell phone lit up the room at 2:39 a.m., not with a storm warning or some family emergency, but with the HOA president herself shrieking that I was being evicted from my own house. No preamble, no context. Just pack your bags, wait on the curb, police are coming. I wish I could say my first thought was to stay calm and rational, but honestly, I just blinked at the ceiling and wondered if this was some kind of prank show for insomniacs. See, I'd closed on this house 3 weeks before, dropped every penny I'd scraped together, signed every document twice, and filed my property deed in a safe 10 feet away from where I was laying. Loretta, the self-proclaimed queen of Oakwood Bluffs, was on the other end of the line, all static and caffeine and righteous fury. "You didn't sign an occupancy approval," she snapped. "Your presence is unauthorized." And then she hung up. Just like that. You know what I mean? The kind of power move only a bored, over-caffeinated HOA president can pull at 2:39 a.m. A second call, same number, double the attitude. She threatened police, said the board had voted to rescind my occupancy. I felt something in me snap, the way dry twigs snap under a boot. So I called the county sheriff's non-emergency line, explained I was being harassed by my HOA president in the middle of the night, and waited, heart-hammering. Deputy Harrison showed up 15 minutes later, found nothing amiss, and told me flat out an HOA can't evict a homeowner at 3:00 a.m. Civil complaints, if any, go through the courts, not the moonlight. But try sleeping after that. I sat up with a mug of coffee and pulled up the HOA bylaws. Nowhere did it say the board could remove an owner without a court order, especially not while half the neighborhood was dreaming of breakfast. By sunrise, I'd convinced myself it had to be some mix-up. Then, sharp at 7 a.m., the doorbell rang. And there was Loretta, hair lacquered to hurricane standards, perfume so strong it could knock out a squirrel, flanked by two board members. One with a clipboard, the other clutching neon orange violation slips like they were golden tickets. "You failed to comply with verbal notice," Loretta announced, pushing a fat envelope into my chest. "You are trespassing." My phone was quietly recording from my shirt pocket, but my hands were steady. "Show me proof," I said. "We'll present evidence at your hearing tonight." "Secret trials now," I told her. They were trespassing. She smirked, gestured at my Ring camera, and marched off after slapping an orange cease and desist notice on my mailbox. Noon found me on the phone with my real estate attorney, Teresa, who nearly choked laughing. "They have zero authority to evict you in the dead of night. This is harassment. Save everything." Just as we hung up, my neighbor Kip wandered over, barrel-chest coffee mug, reading World's Okayest Coach, and a face full of curiosity. "Loretta says you forged your deed," he whispered, eager to stir the pot. "She's telling folks you're a squatter." Great. The rumor mill was already in overdrive. That evening, armed with my closing documents, I walked into the community clubhouse. The room smelled like burnt lemon cleaner. A camcorder pointed at a single chair, the defendant's chair. Loretta and her band of board members lined up behind a folding table, all nameplates and scowls. "Your purchase is invalid," she insisted, waving paperwork about a prior owner's unpaid dues. Teresa, patched in by speakerphone, set them straight. "A lien doesn't void a sale, it travels with the property." My offer to pay the $640 balance had been accepted and signed. But Loretta wouldn't budge. "You have 48 hours to vacate." I just shook my head. "I respectfully decline, and I'll be filing for harassment." By the next morning, things were escalating fast. Kip's SUV blocked my driveway, a tow truck idling behind it. Loretta, in a tailored blazer, directing traffic like she owned the street. They claimed my driveway was common area. I pointed to the survey stakes, called Deputy Harrison, and after Loretta handed over a scribbled note, he told the tow driver to leave or risk a citation. Loretta's glare could have split granite. Now the real game was afoot. Rumors about missing HOA funds, unpaid landscapers, even cameras mysteriously offline started to circulate. Teresa and I suspected Loretta was hiding embezzlement behind all this bluster, especially targeting newcomers. We cooked up a plan, malicious compliance legal style. I requested 3 years of HOA financials as the law allowed, and certified, mailed the request to each board member. Installed new security cameras, motion-activated floodlights, the works. Loretta wasn't done. One night, my new floodlight caught clipboard guy rummaging through my recycling bin. Cameras caught it all. Teresa had a cease and desist, notarized and delivered by a courier wearing a legal Eagle Express t-shirt. Neighbors loved it. But when the board ignored my records request, Teresa filed a small claims petition, $500 daily penalty for every day they delayed, plus attached every video and police report. Kip turned up with a homemade apple pie wanting to talk. Loretta promised perks for helping enforce the rules, he admitted, but his wife thought Loretta was out of control. He offered to support the recall vote if I needed it. Allies were sprouting up like weeds after rain. That same week, the HOA shut off my water illegal in a felony to tamper with public utilities. The county inspector turned the water back on, filed an incident report, and I pressed charges. Harrison called, still half amused. Loretta had claimed the HOA owned my pipes. By now, the missing funds rumor was a full-blown roar. Miss Dahlia, a retired accountant, volunteered to audit the books. We gathered in the park, shared my videos, and started a petition for a recall election. Loretta retaliated with flyers, photoshopped images, calling me a trespasser, only it backfired hard since people had seen deputies at her door. 20 days after my request, court day arrived. Loretta in a red power suit, her lawyer looking nauseous. The judge ordered the HOA to turn over every document and penalize them, $10,000. That afternoon, 3 boxes landed on my porch. Old invoices, fake security contracts, consulting fees to Loretta's maiden name, thousands missing. Dahlia and Kip helped tally it. $186,000 gone, money meant for repairs, parks, dog runs that never happened. We hired a forensic CPA. Turns out the HOA's own bylaws allowed us to demand an outside audit for suspected embezzlement. Loretta must have sensed it was closing in. She sicked a code inspector on me, accusing me of illegal renovations. Inspector left, shaking her head. Second bogus call this month. Don't have to ask who made the first. The recall signatures soared past 60%. We booked the high school auditorium. Everyone showed up. Loretta tried to dismiss the petition, but Teresa cut her off. The crowd demanded a vote, and the ballot spoke. 134. Yes. 19. No. Loretta slumped her board, ousted the interim committee, took over, and wouldn't you know it, that very night someone broke into my house, papers scattered safe untouched, but the original violation notice in my thumb drive gone. Cops dusted for prints, the hint of recognition in their eyes. Days later, Marisol, the interim chair, got an emergency court order and, accompanied by a deputy, retrieved Loretta's personal laptop. On it, spreadsheets, fake landscaping invoices, even HOA funds used for her new electric SUV. We gathered the evidence and at the next town meeting shared everything. Neighbors voted file a civil suit, cooperate with criminal investigators. Teresa delivered it all to the district attorney. Loretta doubled down with smear flyers, accused me of orchestrating a hostile takeover. Trevor, the clipboard guy, flipped, agreeing to testify against Loretta. Turns out she made those 2:39 a.m. calls from her kitchen, sipping herbal tea and plotting. Criminal charges rained down: embezzlement, vandalism, impersonating a public official, even burglary. She was booked, posted bail, and made local headlines, hiding behind an HOA letterhead folder. Life in Oakwood Bluffs began to heal. The dog park was built. The playground finally got mulch. Street lights glowed again, and for the first time in ages, neighbors gathered just to enjoy each other's company. The evidence kept rolling in. Restitution payments began. HOA dues even dropped. When the trial came, it was a formality: guilty on all counts, 3 years in prison, full restitution, and barred from HOA boards for life. Karma has a sense of humor. Loretta spent her days weeding the jail's community garden, and her electric SUV was auctioned to pay back what she stole. The HOA flourished: a transparent committee, regular neighborhood movie nights, and a brand new park restoration park. Thank you very much, funded by the very money Loretta tried to hide. People smiled again. Arguments settled in town hall meetings instead of backroom deals, and even Kip coached t-ball for the kids. You know, every so often I replay that old voicemail, Loretta's midnight demand, echoing from the past, just to remind myself how fragile power can be when it's built on fear. My house is still mine, my keys still jingle, and these days, our biggest fights are about who's next to host the Friday potluck. The moral rules protect us, but it takes all of us to keep them from becoming weapons. So if you ever find yourself facing a tyrant in your neighborhood, document, collaborate, illuminate. You never know who'll step up to stand beside you. Now I want to hear from you. Who do you think was really in the wrong, me, Loretta, or the board? What would you have done? And what's your wildest HOA war story? Drop it in the comments. Let's get this debate going.